Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Kamunabi Headquarters.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode. Oh God, what episode is this? Episode 7? Episode 8?
It's episode
I think
8.
this is episode 8, yeah. Episode 8 of the Kamunabi Headquarters. I am here with Glowplasma, Calcan 7, and Edo Sarafino. How are you guys doing today?
We're
Good.
here.
Oh yeah, back from a very, very long break, but I think we're all ready to talk some bocce, yeah?
Yes, always.
3 whole
Oh yeah,
chapters.
boy, 3 whole chapters, and boy, do we have a lot to discuss and not enough time. But let's do it anyways.
We can make it all work. We can try. All we're talking about is like a mediocre fight today. Like, there's nothing else. Like, I don't know what you guys are thinking.
Oh my God, you just called
Hey,
Samura's fight mediocre. You're already starting with the slander banter.
Hey, I'm
okay,
I'm,
Glow,
I'm
it's
allowed to
time
have
to
opinions.
fight. We're gonna fight. I'm gonna drive to whatever state you live in, and we're gonna fight.
I've got
3
my
weeks between
metaphorical
episodes,
boxing
and
gloves
the first
on.
thing Glow does is talk shit.
Yeah, no, I will buy boxing gloves, and we're gonna box.
Oh no.
But anyways, so chapter 84, it picks up where we left off with Chihiro teleporting the N10 through to him after copying Crow with Akka, which honestly, I got this so wrong. I didn't think he copied Crow through Akka. I thought that he just used his innate ability to manipulate and see spirit energy to copy.
Yeah, in episode 7, that's what I told you. I'm like, he's just copying to power, and you're like, no, that's a Kurofish. I'm like, no, he's just copying to power. Like, it's nothing different than that. Like,
and it was a Kuro fish, but he was only the Kuro was only like the manifestation of spirit energy, like the crow feathers. He was still using Akka to teleport between the fish.
now, before we get any farther into this chapter, being that Cal and Edo, you two weren't able to be on last episode, could you just give us your quick thoughts on chapter 83 or whatever it was, the N10 chapter?
83. Let me scan. Well, I will say, any chapter's a great one if you click on it and Shiba's on the first page. So
This is cool.
this is true. And I love that setup at the beginning, like the why he give me this. And that whole chapter I adore, actually. I think it's so good. Strong ending, of course, obviously, but the whole build up to it and stuff was actually peak. I loved it so much.
Oh yeah. Edo, what are your thoughts on chapter 83?
It was obviously a very excellent chapter, but to be honest, I focused more on the architecture of the buildings.
Hey, you know what? I'll tell you what. Hokazono has an eye for architecture, that's for sure.
Or his assistants
because
too.
I finished like two weeks early the art exam of Japanese, and I was so into the Kyoto Zen style of architecture. So
No, I do think it's amazing how well Hokuzono was able to translate the architectural genius of Kyoto into his work while also putting his own spin on it. And see, this is how you know he's such a great mangaka and a great artist, because we're not even talking about characters or fights anymore. We're literally talking about architecture. So, I mean, yeah, I fully agree with you on your synopsis of this chapter. It was fantastic. All right, so in the beginning of chapter 84, we start with Samura saying, "Break the Shinichi," and he says, "Get real. It's pure fantasy. Even against Toby Mune, you haven't so much as nicked it." Now, see, I love this because I love how Samura himself is like, this is definitely an idea that local hero would think of. You know what I mean? This is a Kunishige idea.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting because it's like
And I like that
all
too.
your swords are just war.
Sorry, I did not mean to cut you off. You like your audio cut in and out for a second, so I did not know you were talking. That's my bad.
No.
Um, but basically, I do love the like it is something you'd think of, but like I just think that's so goofy. But also, Samura is rage baiting.
Oh, most definitely.
He does that very well.
No, absolutely. And I love this whole thing. I just love how he's just continuing to choose to stay blind to this very obvious path of no death that Chihiro is presenting to him. You know what I mean?
I see your
Yeah,
foreshadowing.
I love his character.
Well, anyways, shall we move on?
Yep.
Moving to the next page. See, this is really cool because Samura's like, I love this whole thing where it's like, Samura's like, the little flashback, and he goes, "You aren't trying to become a swordsman, are you?" And he goes, "No, I want to be a swordsmith like my dad." Samura goes, "Even if you did have that power, this burden from the past, it's not yours to shoulder." And then just this cold, cold panel of him going, "I'm Kunishige Rokuhira's son." It almost gave me the same vibes as like Breaking Bad, if you've ever seen it, where Walter White goes, "I am the one who knocks, I am the danger." Gave me the same vibes.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I
And I
think
love
that
how this like no, go on.
I was just going to say that I think it really works here for Cheer to like be still reaffirming all of these principles that he doesn't want to be a swordsman here in the moment. He just wants to follow in his father's path, and that's why he feels that he has the duty to clean all of this up. Even if Samura is like, "Hey, this is just the stuff from the past." I think it's really written very well, and also just the panel of Chihiro seeing like all of the water droplets around him. I really think just adds to the effect of like the mystical depth that we can really see into his character here. I think it's pretty cool.
As I was saying, this whole fight is about the regret for the past against the hope for the future, and I I simply love it.
No, I absolutely love it too. The clashing of themes, um I love how Hokuzono has this way of just perfectly displaying an idea and a concept, and then also displaying its antithesis, like doing it through the medium of his characters he creates. Kind of like Chihiro and Sojo. How Sojo was the complete antithetical foil to Chihiro. You know what I mean?
And giving you the hey, he's got a point thought.
No, yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Cal, you got any thoughts?
I love that panel so much. Chihiro has been so like goated. Like Chihiro is so cool. And I feel like that panel is a big like example of just him being so awesome.
Well, and now we know Hinao was not lying when she said, "You're so cool. You're amazing." And he
She
goes,
was real for that. She was absolutely real for that.
she was absolutely real as fuck. This is why Hinao is like the waifu material.
That we haven't seen in what,
She'll come back
30,
one day.
40, 50 chapters?
It's been more than 30, I think.
Oh,
we've
she'll
seen
come
her.
back.
Makazuchi ended in like the 40s, I think.
She'll come back.
God.
Just you wait. She'll show up with Chihiro and the rest of his found family.
I hope Char's doing okay, you know?
Me too.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Char and Hinao are kind of together because like they
Yeah.
almost have to be, because there's no way that Hishaku don't know who they are. You know what I mean?
But also, we don't know if the Hishaku
Yeah.
are also directly targeting the two of them, being that was sort of more Sojo's whole thing. But either way,
Right.
I hope they're doing good.
No, I mean knowing how smart Yura is, I could totally see them targeting them to get to Chihiro.
But also, he is putting out a full-scale invasion right now, and it'd be really funny if the whole idea is like, oh yeah, this big invasion is just like a way to like get you not thinking about Char and all of them to go and like it's a big diversion, you know, just to kidnap Char and Hina at the end of the day. That's my new theory for this.
Hey, Glow, hey, Glow, you're cutting out pretty bad. I don't know if it's like just your mic or whatever.
It's my
I just
internet.
wanted to let you know. Oh, it's your internet? Okay, I
All
got
right,
you.
hold up. I'll try to rejoin
Got it,
somewhere else.
nothing. Oh, okay. He says
Oh.
just continue on without it. Okay. All right. Let's see. So, and not to keep blazing this I'm Kurishige Rokuhira's sun panel, but I love the water droplets coming off of M10 because it really just continuously goes to show, um, say, like, how good Hokuzono is at naming things. Because as we've discussed before, M10 means like heavenly abyss or like deep pool of heaven, deep water pool of heaven, heavenly water pool, something like that. And so like the water droplets really fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love whenever he does the water coming well, not even off the sword anymore. Literally, like Chihiro's eyes like
Like his
get
whole
all
body.
watery, like his literal like clothes get watery. Like it's crazy. It looks so sick.
Well, like my favorite thing is like what they do in like the next panel where he'll have Nishiki coming off of him too, just emanating off of him.
Yeah, it's like the like the I don't even know, like the pattern on the fish. Is that the right word?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
even know.
like the fish's pattern will emanate off of
Yeah,
Chihiro.
like coming off. It's so
I don't
sick. I
yeah,
love it.
kind of like the lightning that Sojo has.
Yeah. But instead it says fish colors,
Right.
but it looks
No,
super sick.
I love this whole thing where he goes, I've never felt this level of ferocity. This time he's really going for the N10. When he said that, it had me scared for Chihiro. I honestly thought that he was going to lose the fight after he said that.
It's definitely a scary line considering he's like, I've never seen him this ferocious, even though like Samura's literally killed him before.
Right. And I
And
was like, Chihiro, you seem a little too calm saying that.
literally. It's because he locked in. He was actually like killing it. He was doing so good.
And then you've got this little like yin yang pinwheel circle of the feather and the fish together. Peak.
Yes.
Absolutely gorgeous. Do you have any extra thoughts, Edo, or anything specific about this chapter that really stuck out to you?
No, not about this chapter. Maybe the introduction of the masumi was really done great.
Oh yeah, where they're like posted up and they look like smoke almost.
Yeah, exactly.
That was so cool. That was
Because
probably
it's like if we saw the situation with the eyes, technically, of Samura.
yes. That moment was actually incredible. Um, so like there's this whole thing where Chihiro, by the way, this is probably the most expressive face I've ever seen Chihiro with when he says, I'll show you how you can live. That was
Yup.
probably the most emotional expression I've ever seen come from his face.
It's just so like big. Like
Like you can
eyes
tell that,
wide, mouth wide, his nose is scrunched a little. Like it's just
right?
so
Like
passionate.
you can tell that
Eyebrows are furrowed in.
right. You can tell that when the voice actor records the lines for this during the anime, that he is gonna go hard.
I always think stuff like that whenever I read Kagurabachi, even though I feel like in some cases it's just like double spreads, for example, and how grand they are, which we'll get to one later, but like I feel like just replicating the scale of that can almost be like just not live up to it, but at the same time, thinking of like line reads and stuff for like an anime and like stuff like that is so exciting. And like it's gonna be so sick when that eventually happens.
Yeah, and see, like Hokazono, he set it up perfectly for them. Like every chapter is basically storyboarded already. Like it's
Literally.
the action is choreographed perfectly. Like they're gonna have such an easy time animating the series. But the one thing I'm worried about is that they're gonna mess up the aesthetic. And the reason I say that is because of scenes like the Kabuki play, where Chihiro fills the stage with the stadium with Kuro and completely blacks everything out and just fucks Hirohiko up. I have a feeling that they're going to have a little bit of trouble getting the aesthetic right for scenes like that.
It'll be okay.
It'll be okay, and I have faith that Cygames will do a very good job.
1-2.
No, I have full confidence, actually.
No, I'm so glad that I got in contact with an industry insider, so I will know about the release or the what do you call it, the I guess the announcement about a month ahead of time. So we're in good. All right, we better continue on. Let's see. Oh my gosh, this scene where Samura just completely destroyed Chihiro's hands here. Like you can just see the pain.
It's such a well-drawn hand.
Oh my god, it is such a well drawn, really fucked up hand. And then you can just see the look of utter pain in Chihiro's face. Now, the amount of respect that Samura has to have for Chihiro for being able to still pick up the blade after that and use a fully Suzaku powered EI to crack Tobimune. Like if I was Samura, I would start to respect and possibly even fear Chihiro a little bit after that.
Yeah, it is badass. It's fucking cool.
I could go on for hours.
Oh, literally.
I love how we did get an explanation for how Crow's feathers work, like how the protection works. It was a cool little bit of rain. And then, of
Yeah,
course, oh, sorry, go ahead.
that's okay. I was just gonna say, like, they did set that up a little bit ago, but I guess I don't think we entirely knew how it worked. And then,
Right, like we got the
but
very
seeing that come
specifics.
back is cool.
Right, we got like the very specifics and how like the Masumi needed to know how it works so they could know if their stealth would work against him. I thought that was super.
Yeah, I just like the callback of since they can fight with him undetected, like they did
Right.
earlier in this arc. Instead, it's like now they're fighting against him undetected because you know, I mean, it makes sense. And
Yeah,
I
and
thought using
I
that is
was
smart.
honestly really worried that that little fact wouldn't get expanded upon because like right after Samura quote betrayed the Kamunabi or whatever, um, you know, the Kamunabi or the Masumi were like, we're the best bet against Samura. We're the only people who could fight with him. It should stand to reason that we're the only people who can fight against him now too. And I like how that came around full circle and came back into play.
Yeah.
And then here's that panel that Edo brought up of this sick panel of the Masumi looking ghostly. Well, let's see. A little further in the chapter, we have Aka Suzaku. So we get the confirmation there that Chihiro can store the abilities we learns through Aka, which is pretty cool. It makes me wonder if we can still use some of the abilities he absorbed earlier in the series, like the Daruma sorcery or like Mei from Sojo. I think that'd be a pretty cool callback if we could.
Not sure if it would only be stored like is it not stored then like released?
Well, no, because he was able
Or
to instantaneously switch between Suzaku and Pro.
oh, that's true.
He was able to use them both at the same time. So that begs the question of whether or not he can reuse abilities he's learned in the past.
But isn't he also fighting Samura, like the guy who uses those powers? Like, when would he have copied Suzaku before?
I think he copied Suzaku when he made the initial block when Samura came through the door to start the fight.
Okay, so yeah, I guess that works. I guess
Which, by
I
the way,
always thought
your
it was just
dad.
like he copied the power and he had it for like that fight. I guess I never thought it would have stored the power
Yeah.
also.
Yeah,
I feel
because
like
he was able
maybe
to
there's a
use.
time limit, but
Yeah, there probably has to be a time limit, otherwise he would just be broken.
Yeah, but also I feel like we've also seen him break out some bigger moves like, oh, I ended up copying the May from the Cloud Gouger. Let me use that again, or use some of these other really powerful sorceries that could give him an edge up in the fight. So,
Well,
yeah.
or it could
I
just be
had
a
this.
reveal they're saving.
No, see, I had this thought that like if he is able to reuse old abilities that he's copied in the past, like that sets up a really cool fight with the Sword Saint where he has to, go through his entire arsenal of abilities he's copied plus abilities he has to beat him. You know what I mean? Like we could
Yeah.
see that we could see this full circle come around where he just pops out of Daruma for the kill.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, I feel like I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like if he was able to do that, like keep them stored for like infinitely, basically, I feel like he would have done it by now. And if that is a thing that gets revealed like later down the line, I don't usually question Hokuzono. He would probably do something to make it make sense and work, and I'd be like, oh, okay. But I do feel like that would be a little bit of like a okay, so you've been able, like, for example, using lightning from Cloud Gouger or something, I mean, like, you've had lightning this whole time and you haven't been using it? You know
Also,
what I
the whole
mean?
idea, you'd want to break that out against your most powerful foe, and who's a more powerful foe that he needs to fight than Samura? Like, now is the battle
Exactly.
that he would have been using that in, so, like, if he's going to use Flamebone again, he would do it now against Samura, and it just, I don't see the logic behind it otherwise. Like, maybe you can look at it later, his true realm comes into effect, and he's able to expand his abilities more to be able to like go back and copy those abilities again. But I just don't see it. I really don't. I think it's
Well,
just
see,
he's fighting Toby Mune, so he's able to get Crow and he's able to get Suzaku and willingly change between them. Because like after this moment where he uses Suzaku, we know that he doesn't use it again for the entire fight. He just uses Crow. So
now I will say though, like, a couple details. One important detail is he was not nearly as in tune with N10 in the past as he is now. So,
There
that
we
could have
go.
something to do with it. And then also, here's a cool little theory. What if for him to continually infinitely copy abilities like that, he has to be within the presence of the spirit energy of what he's copying? Which could explain why he was able to switch back and forth because he was constantly surrounded by similar spirit energy, so he could copy it. I don't know. Just a thought I had. I don't know. You got any final
No,
thoughts on this chapter, Edo?
mm, no, no,
Good chapter.
actually no.
I'd say
well,
it was a good chapter.
while my internet was out, did you guys end up bringing up Ikora and Iori entering the area?
No, we
No.
actually did not. So
How do you
maybe it's
guys
now is a good time.
how do you guys think they got there? Because in my video that I made, I pretty much just thought that maybe the Masumi helped bring them here in the moment because we see them appear and the next thing we see is, oh, the Masumi are here too. Because we don't know how far to Kyoto Bloodshed Hotel is from this place, but with the rate that Samura and Chihiro, who are these two really fast characters zipping around the entire area to get into this courtyard garden while they're currently fighting, it would take a long while for these two just to walk all the way there. Like, did the Masumi bring them? Like, I'm just so confused.
I think so, because they were
They had to.
together at the hotel. The Masumi were with those 2.
Well, and
So that's what I would guess.
you got to remember that in like chapter 86, Moku is carrying Ikora.
Yeah, we
So
do
like,
see that later on.
They
so
tight.
like
They're
my
tight like
guess is that
that.
Sumi grabbed up Iori and then Moku grabbed up Ikura and then they went to the battle scene. They probably wanted Iori to watch the fight for specific reasons.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But yeah,
I also find it really fun to like, yeah, Ikora, we need to just bring you with us. I mean, there's a whole comedy part about in the last chapter we're talking about today. But it's still just a really funny to be like, Ikura's here too, you know?
right.
Exactly.
And then yeah, this chapter ends off with Chihiro cracking Tobimune, powering through the pain of his shattered, destroyed hand, loading up his blade with Suzaku, and using a full powered attack to crack Tobimune. Wonderful way to end the chapter, and I think it really wonderfully sets up the next chapter.
Yeah, I think we spent enough time on chapter 84. We should go
I agree.
forward to chapter 85.
That
I
water
absolutely
reflection is really cool, though. Just seeing their two swords clash and not seeing it in the moment, but just in the water reflection. It took me a while to figure out what that panel was, but it's so good.
I'm gonna be real. I did not realize that was water.
that reflection is fucking tight, man.
Oh, now I see it.
Yeah, I was so confused first. I'm like, why are we seeing this happen? Like, is it the water rippling? I'm like, oh, wait a second. We see Samura and Chihiro's outlines in that. It's so cool.
Oh my gosh. Wait, I never noticed that. Oh my gosh. Wait, that's really cool. I'm having a moment, guys. Sorry.
I think it's funny, Cal. You notice all of the wrong things, but it's so right at the same time because it's hilarious when it happens.
Oh, oh man, I like this panel so much more now. What? I low-key thought it was just the ground being destroyed from the force of it, and I was like, wow, they're really powerful. Oh my gosh, that panel's so cool. I'm like tilting my phone sideways, like it's in my face, by the way.
Gotta tilt
Okay.
the phone.
No, literally, I look like a fool right now. Okay, got it. Thank you for
Alright.
pointing that out. Oh my goodness.
On to chapter 85, which opens and begins with Samura in his flashback standing outside of Iori's room listening to her cry. Which I love these little flashback scenes that are littered throughout this arc, where it's like, something major will be happening and then they'll show a tiny little portion of a flashback and make it very relevant. I absolutely love that.
The anime better have a good soundtrack for this, or I'm going to care even less whenever it happens in the anime.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. The anime better have a good. See, this is why, I love manga. I love manga, don't get me wrong, but anime usually is better, and it's because of one thing: music.
I want Hokazono or Sakisu, one of them.
They need to have Hokazono storyboarding it all and choosing the music and that stuff. You know what I mean?
So it was just a little bit of, Hiroyuki Sawano. You know him?
Now, this chapter, it picks back up with Chihiro having cracked Tobimune, and he says, it cracked, that proves it now. And he goes, I'll destroy the Shinichi with this power. So, and Iori goes, Father, and before she can even intervene, I feel like if she had gotten to say what she was going to say first, Samura wouldn't have even tried to continue to fight. But, before she can even say what she's going to say, he cuts her off so that he doesn't even have to listen. And he says, Suzaku. And this crazy motherfucker heals the crack in the blade. Like, what kind of crackhead sorcerer do you have to be for your healing powers to heal a nuke?
I mean, he healed a whole entire crumbling hotel.
This is
and
true.
Also, next chapter, he does heal rose glasses, so we know he can affect other things that are not people.
This is true.
See, I wonder if it's kind of like Uruha's play ability where he has to know the object, understand it, and respect it for the ability to work.
I don't know about you guys, but I've never gone to a hotel and be like, you know what, I really respect this place. Let me heal it up whenever I end up destroying it with a nuclear weapon on a sword.
Funnily enough, I have respected a hotel one time in my life, and it was because It was the hotel that invented the Reuben, and it's in my hometown.
Wow.
The only time I ever
Um,
respected a hotel.
Yes, like I said, it's
and
not common. And knowing Samura's character, I don't think that he's going around being like, "Hotel, I respect you. Hotel, I respect you." I don't think that's.
me personally, I've never carried a nuke sword into a hotel and then given it my respect. But
Everybody should try it at least once.
Just what it's
is
it's
it a good is it a good experience? Have you done it?
I mean,
no. It's like those commercials. Those not even once commercials for drugs, man. Don't do it.
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday.
What were
I
you
have
gonna
to,
say, Glenn?
it's still really funny to see him just like take and heal the sword on its own. Like I thought it would
Oh,
be a
it's
little
so
bit
funny.
interesting if it would be something like, oh yes, the blade like doesn't affect like only its wear or something. It's like then Samura wouldn't be able to use it, so it makes perfect sense to be able to heal this way. But I find it really funny that I saw nobody online before this chapter came out being like, Samura's going to heal his sword when it does just make
Literally.
perfect sense. Like it. Just think about the powers and shove the two together. I mean, oh no, Toby Moon Blade. What can it do? Heal things. Let's heal itself.
See,
But
Yeah,
I
give
thought
him Cloud Gouger. Let him heal. Actually, that completely defeats the purpose of destroying the swords.
we need to
But
right.
wait until the time travel sword is revealed so we can all go back and save Sojo.
Oh my god, yes.
we need to go back when with the time travel sword and save Misaka, or however you would say his name.
Misaka.
We need
Yeah,
him back. Oh
dude,
my gosh.
We
talk
don't
about
need to go
aura.
save Kunishige. We need to go save all of these other characters. Still make
All of
the
his
plot relevant, but
friends.
See, personally, I thought that this chapter was going to open up with Chihiro cutting straight through Toby Mune, and then, Samura being surprised and giving in and then healing the blade. I didn't think he was going to heal the blade right away and continue the fight. You know what I mean?
I have
I
to say it
never
is
expected him to heal the blade.
it's way more cool whenever it's just like a small chip. Oh, it's nothing, and then he just continues to fight. I have to say, I think this is the better move instead of getting the big reveal of like, oh man, the sword's destroyed. Oh wait a second, never mind.
Because if you continue to fight after it's completely cut in half, it's just like, what are you even doing? Chihiro just completely proved his point. But since it was just a little chip in it, he had the audacity to go, "Oh, you made a little progress. Let me undo that."
He said Control
Like,
Alt Delete.
no, literally, like he said, Control Z. Like,
He said, man, no, see, now, like Edo, when Uruha was revealed to be alive, and like you, Cal, when Uruha was revealed to be alive, I was jumping up and down screaming like a little girl when Chihiro and Samura started to fill up the area with feathers and goldfish. And then they literally, in the narration, made a callback to the Kabuki play, which is, I think, hands down my favorite scene in the whole series so far.
You guys
that's
and your
very fair.
favorite mid scenes.
I know. I was gonna say. I remember Glow not really digging that scene personally. As a Hirohiko girly, love
You're
it.
just a hater. You know what? While we're talking about favorite scenes, okay, I just told you guys mine. It's the Kabuki play where he fucking blacks out the stadium. You guys, one by one, tell me and the fans your favorite scene from the series so far. Well, you go
Oh,
first.
yeah, mine is. You sort of put me on the spot here, though. I think I'm probably going to have to go the whole Kiora situation with it has to be
And
Hawkeri and the grenades. What am I talking about? It's Hawkeri and the grenades.
I knew
There,
you were going to say that. All right,
there is no
all right,
better
Cal,
scene
you're up.
in this manga than Hawkeri, yeah, and the grenades.
Hell yeah. All
uh,
right, Cal.
I think I haven't thought too much about it, but I do have probably multiple. Mainly, um, probably my favorite is the end of Rakuzaichi where Kiora like eventually like dies and there's like the panels with like the flowers coming out of him and like
Oh,
that
and he's
gorgeous
going
one.
like,
Everyone.
and he's like admitting he was wrong to Chihiro.
Yes,
That
yes.
was so beautiful.
And I really like the OG of Ruha versus Samura. I dig a lot too, but I think the end of Rakuzachi is probably my favorite.
Oh yeah. All right, Edo, what's your favorite scene from the whole series so far?
Well, it's very hard to decide because I love almost every scene in this manga. I'd say every time with Toto.
Every time with Toto, hell yeah. Every time your wife is on screen, you gotta love it, right?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, Toto's husband
Yeah.
told me pretty.
Wait,
I don't see a problem with that.
I just realized
I've
in this podcast we have both Sheeta's wife and Toto's husband.
Well,
Great observation, my friend.
it's right.
I have a
That's
lot of lovers.
that's the Calcan observation, guys.
It's the Calcan difference, baby.
Yes, sir.
No, but I have one more favorite. It might not be favorite, but one that I went literally crazy about it was chapter 74, I think. And the way end with like Samura finally pulling up after they both pull out their enchanted blades.
That's a good one. That Samura's
Just
pull
that was
up
so hype.
when Samura pulled up like Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII.
That was 74. Nice. I was right. Yeah, no, that shit was so sick.
He
Me and my
literally,
sister were in public when that chapter came out, and we were like freaking the fuck out.
dude, when I saw that panel of him with wings, so being as autistic as I am, whenever I see something really cool in like a manga, the first thing that happens is my mind will attribute music to it. And the music that started playing in my head when I saw that scene of Samura with wings was One Winged Angel from Final Fantasy VII. Absolutely
Slay.
perfect. He is the Sephiroth of the series.
And Cal,
Hmm.
what about the Shiba versus Soya fight?
Ooh,
True. I love
talk
that
about a
too.
banger.
I will say that is probably my favorite panel in Kagurabachi so far. Is Shiba just upside down in the air fight with Soya? It's
Oh my
such a
god,
cool
and I love that.
dynamic panel,
That
and I really
panel's
can't wait till we
so
see more
good.
like that.
Dude, I love that fisheye view they put on it too. Just incredible.
Oh, and speaking of like really cool panels, you mentioned fisheye, and now I'm like the hotel, like the peephole
Dude,
where
both
Chihiro's fighting through it. I
both
love that
people
page
The
view
so
first one
much.
was okay. The one of Samura was.
was badass.
That one wasn't as like cool because
Oh,
it
I'm
was just
sorry. Did
like
you
he
just
was
say
standing
bad?
outside of
'Cause
it.
I'll agree with you
No,
there.
no, I thought
Oh
the
my
people
god.
panel I thought the people panel with Samura was badass.
It was fine. Like it was like a good. It's like it's good.
It was a
The
fun
I think
callback,
it
Chihiro
looks.
but the Chihiro one was
the,
much better the first time.
the
Yeah, the
Chihiro
Chihiro one
one
was a lot cooler.
oh yeah, the Chihiro panel was much better for sure.
I just think even just utilizing the people again, even though it's like
I do really like
I don't think it was trying to be as cool. You know what I mean? It's like because
I
one was
do
just like Iori's point of view fighting through it, whereas
he probably didn't even think it
like
was gonna be as cool as it was.
Well, also, it's not like Chihiro goes up and looks out the peephole to see what Samura's doing. He just stays in place. It's just like that's the framing we got for the shot. So it's like
yeah.
I don't
Whereas
know.
the other
No,
one was like actually from Iori's perspective and like Chihiro going by fighting, super cool.
And it was
no, I
really
will have
cool.
to
I will say
say
that.
Yeah.
I do have to say that the people shot of Samura, um, the way that Hokuzono drew the flames of Suzaku and the way it was like building up and the way he was inhaling was really cool. Like Hokuzono's eye for fine detail is actually kind of insane.
Oh, it's awesome.
All right, I think we should continue here. So
Little tangent, little tangent.
little tangent, big tangent, who cares? We're here. So we're at the scene here where Samura and Chihiro fill up the battle arena with goldfish and feathers. And I love this scene because Chihiro closes his eyes and the narrator goes, just the two of them. And then you see, close up of Chihiro's closed eyes, and then a close up of Samura's scarred eyes. You see, one panel of Chihiro facing, kind of off to the left diagonally, that's facing Samura, and then, the panel opposite of Samura facing Chihiro. And then, I love this little bit of narration you get. Currently, Chihiro can use Akka to wield Crow. This field flooded with spirit energy is their arena. They can both use Crow to teleport anywhere within its bounds. So basically, the prediction you made, Glow, where it would turn out to just be a, crazy teleportation battle in the end, was kind of correct.
Except it wasn't, because they use this for one attack. We see them go, we see them do one attack, and I get the whole point. I got a YouTube comment about this, and the whole idea of, oh, it's their arena, they both can sense everything, so they're at a stalemate with each other. I get that. But the way they're just doing it here, and this is one of my big annoyances with this chapter 85, I know everybody seems to love it, but there's just a few things that irk me about this chapter. The whole idea of, you bring up this idea of, okay, we're going to fill the entire area with the crow and the goldfish, sort of giving this domain expansion vibe, as a lot of people have been dubbing it. It's really cool, filling up the entire area to where it's just pitch black, where Chihiro closes his eyes simply just because he can't see, but he can feel everything around him. And you then start ready to get into it. Chihira's like, hey, I'll prove myself, like, you're not getting rid of me. They go into an attack. The next thing we see is like, oh, they're just falling through the sky as it's just like regular. All the things are dissipating. And Samura just cuts down Chihiro. Like, I get that Samura's more powerful, but I feel like you could have extended this a little bit to give it a bit more time of like the big final attack moment between Samura and Chihiro before it really just becomes, all right, they're done fighting. Now it's time for sort of Samura's eye-opening to sort of happening. So, I don't know.
See, I kind of got the vibe that I was kind of under the interpretation that there were more attacks exchanged, and so on and so forth. It's just that, possibly Hokuzono might have been feeling a little stressed or something with the deadline, and so he didn't draw them in. Kind of like, what used to happen to Gege during the release of Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, sometimes he would have chapters where his art was really scratchy or not very, like, fine or detailed because, like, he was, being rushed. So I kind of had the same thought that, like, maybe the reason he didn't draw in more of those interactions in that bubble was because he was kind of, like, being rushed or something. Because, drawing these crazy sick panels all the time, it's got to take its toll on him. You know what I mean? Like, he does some of the most insane double spreads and panel works I've ever seen.
And
I think that
do get that. I'm sorry, Cal. Go ahead before I.
it's okay.
Start
I was gonna say,
again.
no, you're good. You're good. Don't worry. I think that there must be more stuff. Like, they must, like, shoot. I had my wording right now. I don't. It's okay. There must be more, like, exchanges in fights. What is the word for that? Just they continue to fight. There must be more that we don't see. I'm illiterate suddenly.
There's more blows exchanged than what we were shown.
Yes, there we go. I think that because they continue to, like, talk, even though, like, there's no way you could get that many sentences out and stuff while they were just still, like, in that one attack. I just think they didn't show it because it's more, we just are getting, like, close-ups and stuff instead, and then, like, the background of the, like, I'm looking on page 8, it's like there's close-ups and then just the rooftops of where they're at and stuff. So I do think that they do exchange more attacks. It's just that we don't see it. And personally, I don't care because we've already gotten, like, a million, like, half-page panels of them, like, going at it. So I feel like, to me, that wouldn't really add, like, that much because there's already, like, 40 million panels of them colliding swords. But at the same time, I get that.
Well, see, yeah, this is true. But also, it could just be that, like, maybe for part of that interaction, it's going to be shown from the outside perspective, so we can't really see all of the attacks either. You know what I mean?
All right, so I got a few points here to make on the points you guys have just made. Hopefully, I don't forget
Okay.
any of them. But the first thing is to go into Cal's point first. Idea of like, yes, Hokuzona's art style is these big, flashy, double page spreads, single page spreads where we see these two fighting. I mean, we get a very clear view on that on page 7 of chapter 85. We get that on pages 4 and 5 of chapter 85. Like, this is something that he does a lot. And the thing about Kagurabachi, I feel, is that a lot of these fights are big, hyped up moments that, like, I can't think of a single Kagurabachi fight that has not been hyped up to a massive degree. Like, if I'm thinking through all of, like, the big fights in the series, Sojo versus Chihiro, it's that whole 12-second battle. It works very good for the thematic idea of this is a very fast sword that you are going against. I think that works. If we then move to the big fight for the climax of the Rakuzaichi, it was a much longer battle back and forth in between Kiora and Chihiro and Hyuki, right? Hyuki was there?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that was a bit more because we had another character sort of intervening in that, and not in the way that Iori is intervening here. Not that I have a problem with how Iori is being portrayed here in the moment. I think it's quite nice, all things considered. And then we sort of look, oh, the Kabuki play. They didn't really fight too much. It's just all of a sudden here to Kabuki play this big bombastic moment and then a very sudden, quick collapse, right? And that's what I sort of feel like it is here. Yes, we've had a few chapters build up with them fighting, but you suddenly like, oh, this is a big ultimate move. We don't even really see much of it because it just ends there. I don't know if I'm just being grumpy about it or whatever, but and the whole idea of, oh, Hokuzoda didn't have enough time to draw all of this, he very well could have made this a 15-page chapter and given us, the audience, the reveal of Samura's eyes opening to, like, begin next chapter or something else. Like,
Yeah. And I totally get the point you're making there. You're right. You're right. Especially when like every single fight beforehand, even some small fights against some fodder have been made a big deal. You know what I mean? And have been given all this extra love and care. So like I kind of get where you're coming from. Like he did kind of drop the ball just a little bit on this fight. Thematically, I personally think it's there. Action wise, it's almost 100% there. I give it a 98%. So
Yeah, I think
yeah.
that even though we don't really like see like because you're saying like we don't really see like the really like the final climax of this fight or whatever, which like I respect that point. For me personally, it doesn't really bother me because we already had the whole like hotel before this and like then we have this and like yeah, I get it is the climax, but at the same time at this point it's not really like the true fight is like with their words kind of and trying to get their points across mainly for Chihiro. So I feel like his final fight was like just standing back up again and gripping his sword even after being cut down. Like that's like the final move to me is his words to Samura, not the actual attack itself.
no,
So yeah.
I can totally understand where you're coming from with that, and like I don't think this is a bad fight by any means. I mean, it's just I expect better out of this series when we have had other moments in the past that I have enjoyed a lot more in this, and also as we'll be into, I just don't think that I care about Chihiro and Samura enough as a character for this to really weigh as much as it should. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's a fine idea. Do I wish it was done a bit differently? Like, I remember back to when I was reading Bleach or some of those other big action series for the first times. We have fights that last, like, major amounts of arcs, like a singular fight taking upwards of 5, 6, 7 chapters. And I feel like that's what I was more expecting out of Kagurabachi here in the moment. And yes, we eventually get those moments with Iori coming up, and we still can end the arc in the same way. But I just feel like it's something with the current manga industry feeling like it needs to rush to a conclusion and have all of these hype moments to make some of these other moments that I think should take longer. They just get cut short just because fans don't want that nowadays.
No, I will say this panel of Chihiro blocking Samura's attack with his eyes closed is really, really cool because
It's sick.
Chihiro is in essence saying that, hey, look, I can close my eyes and pretend to ignore the future too. And even doing that, I can still take you on. it's just this big, like, it's not necessarily like an FU to Samura, but more of like a get your head out of your ass. Look, I can do it too. You know what I mean?
But I also feel like that's a little bit more of the moment where he's just closing his eyes because it's dark and he can't see anything. Like, there are multiple ways to read at in Teams a Day, but I also feel like that's just one of those where it's like, Hokuzono was not wanting to get that reaction out of you and the reader. It was more of just, he's closing his eyes because there's no point in having them open.
Right. No, I do love just like the narrative depth that Hokuzono has with his work. Like, so many interpretations and conclusions can be drawn just from these little details that he puts in. It's absolutely wonderful. I love it.
Well,
I
now that
love
I've
this
made
part
everybody
where,
mad at me, we can move on.
oh, shut up.
Right.
We're not
Okay. Kidding.
I do love this part where Samura asks Chihiro, he's like, it's agonizing, isn't it? Gripping the N10. As long as you wield the sword, the pain will always be there. And Chihiro is just like, yeah, the two of us don't need to be tormented by the past. And yes, every time I grip the sword, it is agonizing. He says, but I have memories that I don't want to give up. I have, a past that I'm willing to die for. Samura says, from now on, live your own life. And he says, I already am. All I'm doing is living the best I can. And honestly, I thought that was such a powerful, powerful scene.
I agree. I do concur.
Edo, you got any thoughts?
Just love the anything I would say. Anything I say it would be always the same things. Love, 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 peak, peak, peak.
Tenoi, absolute peak.
This
Yeah,
chapter in
it's like,
particular was
it's climb up hill.
the most emotional to me. I really stood like the this monkey meme for 3.5 just staring at the last page.
The last page of this chapter was absolutely insane. First off, when I saw Inori's mom, standing there and telling Samura to let go of the past and look towards the future, and she even cut him off and said, I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you to look after her. And in the Japanese, there's a really cool translation discrepancy between the Japanese and English, because when I read it in Japanese, she said, I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you. Do it properly. Basically saying, like, you need to step up and you need to properly take care of your daughter. You need to be the father that she needs. And that honestly made me cry. I shed many, many tears reading the last few pages of this chapter.
I didn't cry until the last page, but I like that when I saw the last page and his eyes were open, it was so bad. Oh my gosh.
Oh, the last page made me ugly cry.
No, like literally me too. Like
Like,
it
I
was
was
so bad. My
unrecognizable.
sister didn't even know what to do because I was like sobbing and she was like, "Oh my gosh." Like
She took it a little better than you and I'm assuming.
yeah, no, she kind of took it like a champ, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, she got like emotional, obviously, but it was
Yeah.
just funny because it was like I was like sobbing, and then she was like, "Do I comfort her?" Like, because I
Edo,
was just full on like,
did you cry, Edo, when you saw him opening his eyes?
I I heard the music really.
You,
There
you heard
was
the music?
an orchestra with timpani and violins.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you know what? I can actually, what's funny is I can actually post a link in our little group chat of the music I heard when I saw that scene. And I think it fits perfectly.
Well,
I can't really play it, obviously, because we're, recording, but you guys can each take a listen and tell me whether or not you think it fits.
Well, while you're finding that link, I want to go through how I read this chapter because I think everybody's going to be so interested. So I sat down reading. I'm like, okay, that's cool and all right. And I get to the end, I'm like, okay. I got to the end, and I saw, oh, Samura's eyes are open. All right, next chapter. That was my direct reaction. There was like, I don't know if I'm just like in the wrong here. Like all of you guys are like this big emotional moment. It's so great. I literally read. I'm like, well, that's cool. I guess we're gonna read Ichi the Witch now and all of the other series and Jump, and then I'll make the video on it. Like, I don't know. I just
His eyes, and he's like, "It's Goku Raku time."
exactly. It's like I want to go see how this arc ends in Ichi. Like I don't like. It was cool.
I haven't read Ichi. I've only read the first like 2 chapters, but my sister reads it, and I will say I'm so tempted to read it simply for Goku Raku. I
Okay,
love him so much.
I've
You
heard
need-
Ichi the Witch is really good.
okay, all of you guys need to start. It is like, it's so good.
Hell yeah.
I'm not
See,
going to say it's better than Kagurabachi. I'm going to say right now the arc that just wrapped up was better than the Sword Bear assassination arc so far. That's all I'm saying.
Damn,
Ooh, damn, that's a hefty
that's some
claim.
big words.
Better than Rakuzaichi? I don't think so. But
Fair.
I'm
There's not
going to
much
say,
that'll ever top
in-
Rakuzaichi.
in my humble opinion, which I think a lot of people think is wrong for the fact of I don't like Samura that much, I think, yeah, I'll just put that there.
Hey, you know what? This is why we're all here, because we want your opinions. We want to know what you think. You know what I mean? That's what we're here for. See, I spent the last couple of days binge watching Fruits Basket, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen or heard of it, but it is so sad. I mean, if you plan on watching it, make sure you have a box of tissues. You cry every 10 minutes.
I also think that's just a difference between us as people is I have cried over an anime or manga a few select times, and that is just like whatever the end note of the series happens and it's over, and I'm like, that's sort of sad, but I don't actively like there's not been any anime or manga where I'm like reading it and I'm like, oh, that made me shed a tear. So I think it's just like a difference in how we view these series in general is where our differing opinion comes from.
You know what? That's funny because you are the complete opposite from me. I anime and manga and music are some of a few of the only things in the world that can make me cry. Very rarely does something made with real people actually ever make me cry.
Yes, I am also such a crier when I watch things. So that, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. I mean, I guess it makes, yeah, people just do things differently, feel emotions differently.
I mean,
But
it's
like, dude,
sorry.
as a One Piece girly, I cried so many times watching One Piece. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, dude, Annie's lobby had me falling on the floor.
See, Ennie's
I
Lobby, I
want
think I
to
only cried a couple
live.
times, but like Marineford obviously was like,
Marineford was sad.
what? Dressrosa made me cry. I think just with Corazon, but
I can be real. My
Yeah.
reaction to almost
Don't
all of these
spoil
One Piece scenes, you guys are like,
please.
that's cool. It's what it is. I'm sorry for cutting you
I
off.
think I
there,
cried
though.
in Wano multiple times.
I guess one of the few things in the world with real people that's ever made me cry. Actually, technically, the first time I ever cried from a movie, show, or anything, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, when Cedric Diggory
What?
died, and he said to take his body back.
Okay, okay, that's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair.
You have
It's
to
been so
remember,
long
I
since
was
I've
also
thought about that series.
No,
I was also
literally.
like 9 when that movie came out. So, all right. So yes. So this panel of Samura opening his eyes, saying, "Wow, you've really grown up," had me crying, had Cal crying. Not sure how it made Edo feel, but we're just gonna say he felt the same, and it had Glow feeling indifferent.
That's neat. His eyes are open. Wow, if only we
No, but
hadn't
it's the
seen his eyes open
symbolism.
before.
It's the symbolism. And
Yeah, but
actually what made me
Hokuzono showed us what this looked like in one of those Twitter sketches like 3 months ago.
but also for me it was the whole like him seeing Iori was what got me. Not just the fact that his eyes were open, but it was like oh, you've grown. Like I was like,
No,
oh,
at this point,
you know.
I'm just trying to make fun of it as much as I can. It is a good
But you
moment.
know what?
Don't
That's
get me
fair.
wrong.
He's rage baiting. He's rage baiting.
I really am.
You know what?
It's okay.
I think from now on, whenever we do chapter reviews, I am going to post a direct translation of the Japanese versions so that we have material to go off of to find discrepancies and stuff. Because a lot of these cool things we talk about in these videos have to do with just the differences between Japanese and English. You know what I mean?
True.
All right, chapter 86, guys. Chapter 86
The best chapter out of these three.
starts out with Chihiro looking absolutely dog walked, looking like he's gonna pass out and die. Okay, so before we continue talking about this chapter, I'm gonna ask y'all another question. So, I want y'all to tell our fans, our friends, our family, and wayward members of the Kamunabi, how did you guys think this chapter was going to go when you initially started reading it? Because I, personally, not gonna lie, I thought Samura was gonna have an anticlimactic death and get assassinated in front of you.
I never thought that.
But just I was thinking just after the panel, there was behind the unit said, "Oh, hey, cool." Anyway, Zach.
Alrighty, Glow. What about you? What did you think was gonna happen?
So I was in two camps going into this chapter. As we talked about in the episode 7 of this podcast, I had the whole idea that I thought that the female Hishaku, who we saw went and killed Okira, was going to come in here initially and finish off Samura once Chihiro broke the blade. But as we sort of see, Chihiro never went through and actually broke Tobimune like a lot of us figured what's going to happen in the beginning. And honestly, I was hoping for more of this thing where Samura and Iori sort of would go off on their own and we'd get a whole chapter to them. But I did not expect the whole idea of this chapter where they were going to be heading to the Kamunabi headquarters instead. I was more expecting that
instantly.
Yeah, I was expecting more that Samura and Iori were going to go off in hiding somewhere or something like that for a little while. And eventually, when they're all well hidden, Chihiro would come and then we do some stuff there. Because I honestly think it'd be a really cool thing if now that we know Samura is able to live for a little while, granted, they're now going to the big battle. We see the sword standing up. There's a bunch of even more death flags for Samura now. But I was honestly hoping that we get this whole idea where oh yeah, Samura just goes in hiding and lives out the rest of his days. I thought that would have been a pretty cool sort of little moment. Maybe he gives Chihiro Tobimune and says hey, I'm going to rid myself of the eternal contract and give the sword to you and you can go do something. So that was sort of my two camps going in here. So you're going to get stabbed or he was not.
This chapter actually went pretty similarly to how I thought it was gonna go. Because I said before, I think a few chapters ago, I was yeah, they're gonna end up at headquarters somehow. And then I also was on the team that there's no way that Samura gets snuck up on and killed this chapter. I fully did not expect that. And so this chapter really went how I would have expected it to. Except for the whole sword master, sword saint, whatever you want to call it, him standing up and all that, did not expect any of that. But for the stuff with Samura, Iori and Chihiro specifically,
you called it pretty much.
Kind of, yeah. I called it when they were still in the hotel almost, which is crazy. But
and you called it in the group chat last week too.
And and then I called the death thing specifically that that.
I have to say though, it is really funny how a lot of the Kagurabachi audience, I will say it, myself is included in this. A lot of us have been yeah, so Samura's dying by chapter 70. He's not living past this. Oh, he's dying by chapter 75. How can he be living past this? And we're all the way at chapter 6. We are we're almost 30. We're over 30 chapters removed from his initial introduction into the series, which is really funny.
Well, and now
everybody's been Samura's going to die.
we
now
make
we're
a
at the
bet?
point where nobody can say, "Oh, Samura is going to die in a few chapters," because now we're at the point where it's like, "Oh, Samura is going to have to face Uruha and explain to him why he did that to him." Oh,
No.
now Samura is going to have to face everyone at the Kamunabi.
New
Which,
prediction.
you know,
Samura's not going to talk to Aruha because the Sword Saint is going to kill him first before Aruha can get in and intervene and help. Samura's going to get cut down.
that would be
Okay, I was gonna
insane.
say, can we make a new bet of how many chapters we think Samura has?
No,
Yes, let's
okay.
do that. And whoever is closest is the winner. So basically, whoever is furthest away in their guess has to do the same thing I'm doing, sending Glow a picture to edit in after post.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so I think Samura has.
You can say like
No,
at
no,
least.
no. How about let's
or-
do this? Whoever won last bet, so whoever was the closest to the UCal, you get to go first, and Karate, you should go
Oh, God.
last because you got the
Because I
last one
lost.
wrong.
Okay, all right. How many chapters,
Okay.
Cal?
My bet is that he has at least 10.
Okay, 10. That's a pretty strong number. Glow, what about you?
Go to Edo next. I'm gonna go grab a piece of paper to write this down on.
Okay, Edo, how many chapters do you think Samura has left before his death flag's finally taken?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd say 6.
6. Okay, so
Yeah,
Cal
7,
says
7,
10,
7,
Edo
7,
says 6,
At least 10.
7, 7, 7.
at least 10, so it could possibly be more than 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Glow, what's your guess?
Go and give me yours.
Like-
I'm writing all this down. So Cal's his
All right.
guess.
I'm thinking that Samura dies in exactly 7 chapters.
The same as me.
All right, so me and Edo both guess 7. Cal
Why
has
is it
10
6?
plus.
Yeah, Edo said 6.
Oh, Edo said 6. Okay, so
I corrected myself. I said 7.
okay, so yeah, both me and Edo are on 7. Glow, what's your guess?
Okay, so I'm gonna go a little bit into numbers deep here. So right now it's chapter 86. 10 chapters ago, where were we?
10 chapters
I
ago.
believe
Here,
One
I can pull that up.
my Shonen Jump app isn't loading.
It's okay. I'll just go on the illegal
Okay.
manga website that I use.
Oh, I got it. Okay. Oh, dude, the way I remember chapter numbers needs to be studied.
Oh,
I was gonna guess, and then I was like, oh, I'll check just in case. It's the chapter where Hiko destroys the hotel, and then Mura fixes it.
yep. And he it's when we first see play from Kumihiri.
So, because of that, I'm also stalling because I don't know. Gosh.
I just picked my lucky number. Maybe you should just do that.
Yeah, I'm not
You
picking
picked
2.
the lucky number.
He's not dying in 2 chapters. I'm gonna say, just for the saying stuff since Cal said above 10, I sort of feel that Cal is right in this scenario. So I'll just go 9.
So we got 9, 10 plus, and 2 7s. Did you write that down, Glove?
But we
Actually,
can
you
take
know,
this.
I-
We can take the same side. If they did double 7s, we can both do double 10 plus. But
I am going to go that I'm going to give an exact chapter. Samura is going to die chapter 97.
97. I was gonna say, I think if anything, it would be a chapter that ends in a 7 because the chapters that end in 7 always go crazy. That's why I
Alright,
said
so
10 plus.
I say 93.
93. Oh wow, you're getting really specific. I'll stick with
So-
my number.
Me and Edo both say 93. Flo says 97. And Cal says 98 plus.
Well, no, next chapter's 97. So sorry, 87. So then it would be 97 plus, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my guess.
Yeah.
99.
But
I think it'd be really cool. Whatever.
But we have to include the plus in Cal's answer here because it keeps it interesting. So like if it just happens to be 16 chapters until he dies, she's still right because she was closest to him.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to the rest of this chapter.
I like
All
making
right.
bets. This is fun.
All right, so we've got this chapter starts off with a view of Chihiro just looking absolutely wrecked. I mean, like he looks like he got sprayed 7 ways to Sunday. He
That
can
is a
barely
crazy
see.
saying.
Yeah, I had to censor what I was initially going to say. But,
I like that one.
I like how Chihiro is just so messed up. His vision is so blurry that he thinks he sees Iori, but he can't even tell, if it's Iori or not. And even throughout all of this blurred vision and these injuries, he still has the mental capacity to think to himself about how, he finally managed to demonstrate that he could break the blades, even if it is just a crack on a glimpse. He's remembering Samura saying, we're up against the Sword Master. We're up against somebody named the Sword Master with Kunishige Rokuhiro's Shinuchi. Like, those are some very powerful words right there, because it really emphasizes, like, he is the Sword Master. And, knowing what Shinuchi means, it's a swordsmith's best blade. He is the Sword Master wielding Kunishige Rokuhiro's Shinuchi. Like, it's very on the point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Armor's redesign kills me. I'm sorry. It's gonna take me so long to get used to.
He needed the glasses back desperately, and I'm glad he got them.
He really did. Because I got another comment on this on my channel, which is it's really funny because Samura, now that he's arguably a brand new character with his whole arc and everything, he gets a character redesign, which is really funny. Which is his eyes are open.
Well, and see, with his eyes open, like, it's so weird because, we've known that Samura as this blind, badass, merciless killer for so long, but we see him with his eyes and he looks so sad, so
I know, but they're so
somber.
soft.
Yeah,
he looks so soft.
Yeah, they look almost so pure, almost. Those eyes.
Like the definition.
It's also one of those things where those eyes have not seen all of the destruction that he has caused. They literally haven't been open to see it. So.
Right.
Well, I mean, they haven't seen anything past the war, but
Didn't he blind himself before the war?
No, it was
after. He blinded himself during the war, actually.
Wow, we just took 3 different stances. I thought it was after.
If I'm not mistaken, no, actually, I think it was before the war, because if I'm not mistaken, he has a line where he goes, the first time I ever got into a battle, the first time I ever cut somebody, I couldn't stand the sight of the severed flesh, so I took my own vision. Like, basically, he was so, he didn't, fully say that, it happened before the Seitei War, but we knew, from Hokuzono's previous narrations that these enchanted blade wielders before the war had made a name for themselves previously with their swordsmanship. And so, Samura saying, the first time I cut somebody, I couldn't stand the sight, and him already having made a name for himself before the war makes me think he did that before.
It also may have just been whenever he was learning the EI White Period style from Itsuko. Because, we know that
Looking it up right
had
now.
to happen at some point. So.
Right.
And we don't know if that was before the war, after the war.
Well, and also, there's a panel of him training Uruha in the past, and Uruha is surrounded by bodies, which makes me think, Uruha had to have been a trained swordsman before the war, and if that training panel took place before the war, and Samura was blind in that training panel, then he definitely blinded himself before the Seitei War. I think my logic is logicking.
But was that panel close enough to see if he was actually blind in it or not?
Yeah, you can see the scars.
Well, while you guys continue on, I'm gonna go back and briefly reread 50 through 52 because I know it is explained somewhere in there. So yeah, me and Cal can be able to read it. Judy,
I'm trying to
you
figure it out
continue.
too because I feel like it was definitely after, but
I mean, I think just because of the whole training panel of him, whatever chapter Uruha wakes up in on the table. And it shows the panel of him training with Samura and surrounded by bodies. Uruha obviously made a name for himself as a swordsman before the war, just like everyone else. And in that panel, he's training under Samura, and Samura's eyes out the cut. So I'm almost positive that he blinded himself before the war, but I could be very wrong. All right, so let's see. So the next part of this chapter, after Chihiro is about to pass out, we have the scene with Samura catching him and then instantaneously healing him and everyone around him. How is Samura still capable of pulling off feats like this when he has been giving it his all? You know what I mean? Like, how? What is he doing that's causing his spirit energy reserves to be so incredible?
He locked in.
I guess that's all there is to it. Is he just had to lock in.
Also, I still don't have the exact answer yet, but something that makes me also believe that it was after the war. I'm so sorry to give this, but I didn't look at the panel, but it's in my brain. It's him and Sheba are talking about like otherworldly desires or whatever, and like that's part of why he blinded himself. And that was like the original explanation, was like to like derive himself from like passions or whatever, because passion leads to like something.
Because he couldn't stand the sight of the severed flesh, and then he also, wanted to rid himself of his worldly desires.
When he was talking about that, when he was talking about that, it was kind of like his older design, right? Like he was older at that point because him and Sheba were already like tight.
Right. You know what, Edo, before Glow explains what we're talking about to the crowd, why don't you put in your 2 cents? So do you think Samura blinded himself before or after the war?
He's saying that he blinded himself after the war.
So I'm the only one who thinks he did it beforehand.
Because I remember him saying that obviously for other reasons apart from the real one, but he said that he blinded himself after the war.
Huh. Maybe we need to take another bet on it.
So it's the beginning of chapter 51 wherever Sheba talks with Samura about it, and the whole idea is like, hey, they're talking about the worldly passions and all of that, and Samura says like, hey, worldly passions and like anger and desire lead humans into hell. They dull our judgment and our blight. In order to rid myself of those, I blinded myself. And like, oh, is it smoking an otherworldly passion? He's like, I don't light it, it's just a diversion. Which, speaking of, we haven't seen Samura smoke in a very long time.
He slaughtered all those people at the temple.
But the whole idea is on page 2 of chapter 51, we just see an image where it's right after Samura blinded himself, and it looks like Sheba looks very similar to how he does now. Sheba, or both Samura and Sheba, look very similar to how they do now, and it's one of these things where it's really hard to tell. Like, we have no absolute confirmation on when it was. We're going to have to get a flashback, and I don't think there's any point in continuing to go back and forth on it when I don't think there's a definitive answer out there for sure.
I don't think there is a definitive one, but now we're making another bet. I think it was after.
So, I mean, we definitely are still going to, like, 100%, I can almost guarantee we're still going to get another Seitei War flashback, where they go back and, at least do a flashback of the fight between the Blade Bearers and the Sword Master, and then at least, like, what caused him to go crazy, to go down that rabbit hole, like the events that led up to it. I can almost guarantee we're going to get that.
No, this chapter's it. We're never getting that again.
No flashback for you.
What did you say, Edo?
It's just pure racism.
Right, yep, he slaughtered an entire island based off of nothing but racism.
My favorite shonen power up.
You did not just say that. That's wild, bro. Favorite shonen power up. You know, it explains why fucking Toby Rama is so powerful, huh?
Who?
From Naruto, the second Hokage.
Oh, I don't
Said who?
Yeah,
I don't
I haven't
know
watched Naruto
Naruto.
either. I have no idea.
I don't care.
All I
Let's
know
just
is
say
all
he
I
was
know
the,
is Sasuke and Naruto. That's about it.
let's just say that Toby Rama was the most racist person in all of Naruto. So racist, in fact, that he had the most unneeded hatred towards Sasuke's clan. His entire clan, just its existence.
I have heard tales of this a
he
little bit
invented like
actually.
Literally, Sasuke pulls up, and Toby Rama goes, "Oh, you're one of those filthy Uchiha, huh? Makes sense."
he invented like a ton of jutsu just to fight the Uchiha. It's
Literally,
incredible.
he literally learned and created his entire arsenal of jutsu just to be racist.
Damn.
All right, I
Anyways, I
I
think we're
think we've
getting off
gone long
topic
enough.
again. Okay, so we have this scene where Chihiro goes, "Mr. Samura, your eyes." And he's so surprised to see, his eyes are open. And all he can say is that you wore me down. It's clear you'll die before you release your grip on that sword. And that, like, I don't know how Hokusona just keeps dropping these bars, these absolute bangers of bars, you know what I mean? But his wordplay is just incredible.
That's true. I wonder how much of that is like if it's the exact translation or not though, because we say that, but then there's a chance that that's not exactly how that was even worded. I mean, it must be along those. So yeah,
Um,
But it's also
Hokuzono.
just the English translators who does this series, Camellia. They do a fine enough job making it all sound good. I mean, there's the rough
I
outlines
will tell
there,
you,
but it's also part of like the English translation is a fine one.
out of all the manga I've read, here's the thing: I always read manga in Japanese and English once per series. Out of all of the manga I've read, Kagurabachi has the best and the most on the nose accurate English translations and localizations.
That's
And
good.
are
I'm
you
used
Every
to
sure
single
Jujutsu
that's
series.
Kaisen
not
where
like
it's
you
like
being
the
like,
worst.
Nope,
oh, I
there's
like
no
this
bias
series,
here.
so I read more into it and you understand that? Or is it just like everything else is terrible compared to Kagurabachi's?
No, absolutely no bias here. I'm saying like other manga that I'm reading right now, weekly release schedule. Sometimes like more often than not, there's at least 2 translation errors a month per manga that I read. Kagurabachi has only had 1 translation error in the whole series.
And what was that one?
Hibiki.
Ibiki.
That's it.
Oh,
That's the only error that's ever been mistranslated in the whole series, and they fixed it within hours.
Yeah, I also feel like that's just the jump manga in general. They're really good about that. I mean, are there any other manga like that Viz does the translations for that you can often say that they have translations that they don't fix?
Uh, So like a really bad one when it was coming out was Jujutsu Kaisen
That yeah, like
was
so
so
bad.
bad. The fan translations were much better than the officials.
No, like literally, like there's so much in Jujutsu Kaisen when I read that because I read it before I watched it, and so
Me too.
I was still pretty new to reading manga at that point. So and then I watched it and I was like, oh wow, I missed a lot of that. Like, so I thought like my reading comprehension was bad, but then I was like, no, actually, it's literally just because the translation is like
Well,
not
and
great.
a lot of it was like a really simple error that could have been fixed. Like it almost seemed like the person who was translating JJK
My
would run
worst enemy, John Wary.
like it almost seems like he would fucking pull up a picture of the Japanese, run it through Google Lens, and then
Literally.
write down whatever it told him it was. That's how you get things like malevolent kitchen. Because yeah,
N-
the kanji used for shrine can also mean kitchen, but like I think it's pretty obvious that we're not talking about a literal kitchen here. I mean, it kind of did end up being a literal kitchen in the end, but you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah, no,
just
there's
simple things like that. If you have two choices of kanji or two choices of meaning for kanji, don't just pick the first one you see. You pick the one that makes sense. And
and
that was
also
something that
like
he was terrible at.
there's so many different like sentences in that series that are just like completely different sentences with different meanings. Like it's actually crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like I think when we first saw Hollow Purple, the original translation said transparent purple, which was just wrong.
I know
But
there was stuff
anyways,
towards the end with like the whole like Yuji's domain or whatever, and like I think there's something Megumi said that
yeah,
just completely got translated the wrong way, and what the hell are we doing?
Yuji's domain wasn't really expanded upon greatly either. Like, they could have done a better job with that. But Gege was rushed to finish the series, so what can we do? But anyways, let's continue.
Kagurabachi!
Yeah, Kagurabachi. Um, so let's see. An enchanted blade to destroy the enchanted blades, and you use it to destroy the Shinichi, huh? You forged it together. And Chihiro, see, I love how Chihiro can recognize within himself that he is not there yet, and that there is still a ways to go before he will be able to do what he's setting out to do. But you can tell just by the determination in his face, he will get there no matter what.
That is one of my favorite parts of this chapter, is just sitting down and seeing the whole idea of Samura. Like, even at the end of the chapter, he's like, yeah, you guys have won this battle, like, you win, I'll help you out. It is fun to finally just like see him recognize all of this after this long time.
Right. And he's, Samura's like, this is, he goes, I get it. This is just the start. I understand. And, I love that moment of understanding between Chihiro and Samura, you know what I mean? No, I do love this. Like Samura, after Samura opens his eyes, he's forced to see Chihiro's growth. And I love how he mentions like the swordplay has come a long way. And I just love this Roku here. I'll follow your example. So like he finally opened his eyes to the truth. He's finally willing to try. You know what I mean? And it's just his words of encouragement with the intent. You can do this, basically saying, like, I believe in you, giving him those fatherly words of encouragement that he so needed. You know what I mean? I know. I absolutely am in love with Iori here. Because, Chihiro says, my swordplay improved thanks to your daughter. And all of a sudden, you just see Samura's face get nervous. He starts sweating. And he's so nervous and so like dumbstruck, he can't say anything except you've kept up your training since then. And I just this next scene made me laugh and cry at the same time so hard.
Bro, I was cackling.
Seriously,
I was
seriously?
dying laughing.
She goes, seriously, I've grown up. Duh, you abandoned me for years. And it fucking just rocks his shit. And this just cemented Iori as one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, it is really funny.
Yeah, no, that moment's good. And then after that too, with the whole like, I'm intruding, aren't I? Like,
I love
or whatever
Ikara.
he said. I didn't have it pulled up.
He made
I
me
know,
his
me
favorite
too.
character.
Really?
And then Moku, I love Moku for this. He goes, nah, if anyone asks me, you're the real MVP of this fight.
Literally, I love Moku so much. I love that they were both like hyping him up, like I'm intruding, right? And they're like, no, no. It's so funny.
It is
I
really
love the
funny.
Masumi so much. Moku's my boy, though. I love him.
Name 3 things he's done.
Carry
Oh,
Hakuri,
I can do this.
be hot, carry Ikara.
Okay,
Boom.
I can do this. Moku is the designated carrier of side characters.
This,
Um,
yes.
he also was able to, with Ro's help, save everyone on the bus that got cut in half by Kaguri. And then what else was he able to do? He was able to teleport Chihiro to the meetup spot where he was able to stop Kaguri's pursuit of Iori and Sumi. So
I'm
there's
surprised
three
he's actually done
definitive
3 things.
Oh, I think keep going. But
Now give
maybe
me 3
for
big plot relevant things.
He's hot.
Yeah, he's hot.
All right.
Let's see. He's hot. He is really good at glazing people, and he's the funniest out of the Masumi. He's even funnier than Minimura.
You think?
I think so. I think he's funny. I think he's the Silent Bob type funny, where he doesn't talk much, but when he does, he chimes in with some funny ass shit.
That's fair. I think Ro's the funniest, but
Ro is pretty funny, like the way he smashed down a candy cigarette.
I was gonna say just his introduction alone of like, all right, time to get up, and he's like, let's get fired up, and starts chewing on candy cigarettes. Like,
well,
I love him.
I love where the memers took that picture, because now there's just a bunch of different pictures of manga panels of Kagurabachi characters holding a joint, saying something along the lines of "this shit is gas," all because of that panel.
Hell yeah.
Manga
Like
community
that's
will do
literally
manga
my
things.
that's literally my profile picture. Is just Ro smoking a joint, saying "this shit is gas." Anyways, so Iori screaming, "I don't forgive you," all this time. Now this part made me cry too, because can you imagine how sad just the concept of not being able to remember being forced to forget your mother's last dying smile, the last moments you spent with your father, um, all that other stuff. Like, yes, she may not be able to remember the painful moments, but she remembers all of them. Or she doesn't remember all of the good moments either. Just seeing her finally letting out all of those tears over, being forced to forget without any sort of choice in it. It was a gut-wrenching situation.
I do like how also the masumi on the next page are just like, yeah, I do find it really funny. Like, yeah, Iori already slugged you, so like we're good for now. Let's do more important
Right.
things.
Right, Samura's like, I owe you all an apology too. And fucking Minimura, he's like, oh, we have a bone to pick for sure, but Yoli already took care of it, so we're good for now. Like, that was so fucking funny.
I think specifically he said slugged you. I think is just such a funny phrase.
Right.
Like, she
It is a
slugged
really
you, so we're
good-
good.
It is a really good English translation on that part of just like, what's a fun word we could use?
Slugged.
It's like,
Slugged.
the Japanese was interesting because, like, when I read it, like, yes, slugged would be like a good literal translation for it, but it was almost more like the slang term gut checked.
Really?
Yeah. It was like Iori already gut checked you. He did say slugged, but like it was almost like a slang version of it. It was kind of
I
awesome.
like that. I want to pose a question super duper quick. We don't have to stay on this for long, but since we brought up slug, I'm curious. Do you guys call it a punch buggy or a slug bug?
¿Por qué no los dos? No, I call it a slug bug. I'm from the Midwest.
You do?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Glow, what do you call it?
I've always. It's one of those things where I've never really thought about it. Now you're sort of putting me on the spot, but I've always heard it called a punch buggy more in my area.
Fair enough.
Really? See, that's crazy because until a few seconds ago, I had never even heard it be called a punch buggy.
Really? Okay, because I said I'll make it quick, I swear I will. All of my friends call it a punch buggy, and I've always been a slug bug girl. And so then you brought up slugging, and actually I think I brought up slugging, but then I was like, wait, I need to know.
We
I'm
need to know
really
cultural
passionate
differences.
about this, so I just needed to know. Okay, I'm glad I have another slug bugger.
Hey, minor regional cultural differences are cool, man. Edo, in Italy, Volkswagen Beetle. Do they call it a slug bug or a punch buggy at all?
From the name, no.
Here, I'll.
Oh, this one. Yeah, we don't see it.
Oh, you guys don't have anything
We don't.
special for it?
No.
Oh, see,
Nah.
I guess I have to explain the cultural difference then. So in America, whenever you're driving and you see a Volkswagen Beetle on the
Oh no.
road,
Wait. Yeah, we do. I
oh, you
remember.
guys do?
We call
What,
it Maggiolino.
what do you guys call it?
Maggiolino. Maggiolino.
Mancolino?
Maggiolino.
Macciolino.
What does that mean?
It's an insect.
Insect. Okay.
Oh, okay. So
Oh, this
that's
is so
good.
fun.
Like squishing an
This
insect.
is
I
why
like that.
I love how we have so many people in here that speak so many different languages. We can have some really cool
Which is
conversations
the
about it.
beetle.
Oh, yes, I speak East Coast.
Yeah, you speak East Coast. Cal speaks Southeast Coast.
Well, I did speak Midwest and then I moved, so that makes sense why
Oh,
we're both. I'm originally from Ohio, so
really?
I moved a year ago.
That's crazy. Ohio's nuts, I've heard.
I mean, it's so
It's
lame.
not bad. It's not a bad place.
No, yeah, no, it's like it's a good place to grow up because now I appreciate like literally everywhere else. But yeah, it has its charm, you know. There's not
See,
much going on.
I live in
There's a speedway
Omaha.
close.
I live in Omaha, Nebraska. The only things we have here are the College World Series and the Henry Dorley Zoo, which is the world's largest slash best kept, with the most well taken care of animals in the world. That's all we have in Omaha.
The only thing Ohio really has is Cedar Point and LeBron James.
That's true. You guys
How
did have
could I
LeBron.
forget?
Not that I'm even really much of a sports fan, but I was a temporary LeBron fan back in the day.
Really?
LeBron is actually the reason I started to like basketball. And then after getting into basketball, I saw the anime Kuroko no Basket and just lost my shit and loved it forever.
Me and my coworker were talking about that yesterday.
Dude, Kuroko no Basket is fire. I
I
recommend
haven't
it.
seen it, but he brought up Haikyuu, and then I got like zoomies, and then he was talking about the basketball one.
See, Haikyuu is more realistic, because like the way those games are more realistic to how a volleyball game could actually go in real life. Kuroko no Basket is just straight up ice. Like all it is just high school basketball players with literal shonen superpowers. So I mean, like all it is a big lie, but it's awesome.
Karabachi! Sorry, I got us
Learn.
into a whole tangent again. I'm just really passionate about slug bugs.
You did say
It's
it would be
okay, part of
really
the-
quick, and then it did not.
But then it
No,
it
it was
devolved,
fascinating.
whatever.
Part of the Kamunabi HQ's whole thing was our ADHD spinoffs. It's what we're known for.
This is true.
But anyways, so we're back to this panel of Ikura saying, "I'm really intruding, right? Yeah, it's obvious." And Sumi goes, "No, this would have ended differently without you. You're the MVP." And I feel like most casual readers probably look at this as more of a joke, but I think Hokuzono was being serious here because Ikura was the reason that Yori woke up and remembered her skills and abilities.
I also think that
He showed
it's
up.
a very obvious thing to be like, yeah, it would have ended differently without you. Like, I don't think that's just played for like the joke of it. I do think that like it's supposed to be there for most people to be like, oh yeah, without that Yori wouldn't have awakened. Like, I don't think it's like a special thing that we're understanding. Like, well, if you really think, I think it's just like common sense at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, the way I interpreted it is like I personally feel like her having that friend that she needed to protect in that immediate moment was kind of worked as like a catalyst to help her awaken those latent abilities. You know what I mean?
And then
Like,
you can say the
if
dominoes fall where Chihiro saw Iori because of that, and he was able to contend to Samura. Like, you can definitely make it work.
Exactly. Chihiro never would have mastered EI White Purity style if Ikora hadn't have shown up and needed protecting, therefore awakening Iori's ability. So literally, Ikora set off a domino effect that helped Chihiro win this battle. And that right there is pure cinema.
Thank you, Akura.
Shit, thank you, Vertical, for being so good.
Vertical.
Yeah, we're bringing back
Forgot
the
about that bit.
MVP.
Vertical says no. All right, so continuing on, we have Ro. This line, honestly, for me, was probably like the least impactful line in the whole chapter, because Ro just said like one of the most obvious things like ever. You know, he goes, ready to gamble on the future. And then another thing that Ro does is he hands Samura his glasses and says, here, because the future's bright, huh? Like, no shit, Ro. You didn't need to be so on the nose about it.
Well, he had the glasses because it was the light was intense, I thought. Unless that was supposed to be metaphorical, but I just actually thought that was just because.
Well, I think that might be another translation discrepancy because, like, when I read it in Japanese, that's how I read it. It's like, here, you're going to need these, right? Because the future ahead of you is very bright. And he goes, yeah.
Really?
And he takes the glasses. Yeah, so that might just be another translation thing.
Huh. You know, because in English it just says the light's intense, right?
Right.
And
I think it was
think that
meant to
makes a
be
lot
more
more sense
metaphorical.
also. Because, like,
Yeah, I think it was
the
meant to be
dilation of your
metaphorical.
eyes and everything also would be an effect. Is like we saw that whenever the black was in the sky, the owl was, and then it just like disappeared. Like everybody was like, it was almost like a flash thing went off. So like, yes, whenever Samura hasn't seen and like it's daytime out,
Yeah.
I'm sure that would affect him a lot. So just the sunglasses would help. That's all.
Yeah.
Something really cool I noticed. So obviously, we know the Kamunabi has ways of transferring information instantaneously, right? Whether it be through lanterns, skulls, cell phones, whatever. So at the end of chapter 86, Ro pulls out a scroll and says, we just received this notice that Hishaku are ambushing the Kamunabi headquarters. Since messages can be sent to and from almost instantaneously, this means that the invasion happens damn near right at the end of Chihiro and Samura's fight. Which makes me think that, like, you know, how is that going to work out? How is that going to play out? You know what I mean? Is that something Yora planned for? Or do you think Yora thought that Chihiro would occupy Samura for much longer than he did before Samura switched sides?
Remember this. They started the invasion whenever the owl came out of the sky. That was a specific moment whenever we saw that battle begin. It was like, oh, the owl's out of the sky. Let's go ahead and do this, right? Because now the big detection, so Samura wouldn't be able to attack whenever they were directly attacking the HQ. So it's sort of one of those things where I just think you're overthinking a little bit because we simply just know how it happened. And in the time we've seen so far, they are getting the announcement that it's happened. And it makes sense that during the fight with Hirohiko, Kokiri, all of that stuff, the hotel, getting all the way to this point, it makes sense that what would have happened there is like they're finally able to get a signal out telling Ro, Moku, and Sumi, like, hey, the attack's going on. I think it makes perfect sense.
No, I guess that it does kind of like, you know, beg the other question though, that like, you know, what, because like, okay, so when Samura casts his owl ability and you know, comes down and talks to Yura, like, I guess my other question is now that Samura is on Chihiro's side, like, I don't think his pinky promise is going to work like a binding vow where since he broke it, he's going to be punished for it. You know, it seems to me that it works more. It seems to me that it works more like oh, you know, it only takes effect if he completes his mission. But like the craziest thing is like from the time it took Samura to take down Owl storm the battlefield and have his 5 or 10 minute battle with Chihiro and Hirohiko or whatever. Yura took that opportunity in that very short window of time to invade HQ because Owl was no longer in play. That is some foresight and planning that we rarely see from shonen villains these days. Like, I think the only character I can think of who has this level of, planning and or future planning is going to be Frollo Lucifer from Hunter x Hunter.
Still don't know who that is.
It's
He's
Hunter.
the leader of the Phantom Troop. You'll get there.
No, I know. I know. I'm watching Hunter x Hunter right now, but I've only ever faces in the intro, Crollo, but I haven't gotten him yet.
What arc are you in?
To that point,
I'm in. I just got to the end of a Heaven's Arena. I think I'm about to start whatever's after that.
Hell yeah, that's a good arc. Anyways, Glow, continue to that point.
I get where you're going, but like I also think that, like, yeah, we know you're smart, right? I don't think this is like a crazy feat that we're seeing him actively make a plan. Like, there's been a lot of, like, I don't think that Crollo is like the only thing that you can say, like, oh man, he's as smart as Crollo, right? Because yes, he's very smart, but I also think there's plenty of other antagonists like we have seen have this level of planning. Like, if you look at Sosuke Aizen from Bleach, he also had this level of planning. And also, you're going to have to give me time, but like if we look at some of these other smaller series that like aren't these big, bombastic, massive shonen, there are plenty of other very smart characters who can plan something out to this degree. Like, if you look like at a Sinku from Dr. Stone, he's not a villain in this scenario, but he'd be able to actively go through and plan this out. And just like, yeah, granted, there are some characters there are plenty of antagonists who don't have that foresight, but I also think that that's not really a good statement to say that Yura is the best one that we have right now, because I just don't think that's a very fair statement to make, because he's just not.
No, that's fair. Small tangent about Dr. Stone. I don't know if you saw Glow. I know you're a fan, but the new episode came out last week.
Oh, did it? I'm probably going to let it build up a little bit. Probably you'll let it get to like 7 episodes or something, and go through. And also, I just like Dr. Stone the dub, so I'm going to wait till the dub comes out.
Real, I'm a dubber too.
I'm glad we have a second one here.
Are you a Dr. Stone fan, Cal?
No. It looks cool. I like the character designs. I haven't watched it, but no, I was seconding him on the fact that I am a dub girly through and through.
You need to watch Dr. Stone.
I can watch things in sub if my computer.
Dr. Stone needs to be the one thing.
Back. Sorry if you can hear me. But,
oh no, I can hear you. You're good.
Yeah, we could hear you. Dude.
Okay. And okay. I can watch things in sub if like I have to, but like I prefer dub like heavily.
All day long. I totally. I've watched plenty of stuff in sub, but it's like at the end of the day, I can put dub on and just like set it there, and also play my 3DS or something. Like, there's so much more you can do.
Yeah. See, I like dub, but I also really like sub because of moments where characters will do things like speak a different language and stuff like that. I think those are really cool.
That's fair.
But yeah, so before we get back on track, Dr. Stone, Cal, and Edo, you guys need to watch it. I think Dr. Stone needs to be the one thing that all of us in this podcast agree about.
What is there to agree on specifically? Just that it's good? Or?
Just that it's really good.
If you want to hear more in depth, I think me and Edo talked about it. Or no,
I like the character design of the main guy.
Talked about it for like 10 minutes last podcast.
Shit.
Really? Okay.
Edo, have you seen Dr. Stone?
Bro, I'm literally Senku.
You're literally Senku? Hell yeah.
Degree in chemistry.
Let's go.
Oh my gosh, you guys really said let's all watch Dr. Stone and not tell Callie. Okay.
But anyways, let's hurry up and finish up this chapter so we can close out for the day.
True.
Yeah, so I think we got through all the parts of, like, because Somber got his glasses back, Ro let them know, like, hey, there's an invasion going on. And then we cut to the big panel of this chapter.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's fucking talk about it. And let's hurry up so Edo can get some food. I know he's hungry.
All right, I'm gonna be real. I did not think Misako was a guy.
Oh, I knew Misako was a guy because Mikasa is the female version of that name, and Misaka is the male version.
Well, somebody who's not Japanese, thank you for informing me now.
Yeah. I didn't really think much about him, or I guess them, since we didn't know. Much really. I didn't realize that there was a whole like side of Kagurabachi like theories that was like so in depth about this person. Like I actually had no clue. And so then everyone was like, he's not a woman, no. And I was like, what?
See, I
But
personally, I love this panel, and I love how I was absolutely right. Misaka did have white hair. I knew I was going to be right, and I also called it in a Reddit post like 6 months ago. When we finally get a picture of Misaka, he is going to be an aura farmer. And
oh, he is. I love it.
I love how we can also see Subaru up in the front. He's holding his sword in like a classic kendo stance, which is really cool.
His design is so funny. Like, we don't get much from him, but I can't wait till we see him in the story. I really hope that he's the next sword bearer that we focus on. I really hope he is.
I think he is going to be, because he's the only one of the two sword bearers left that we have any information about at all.
Yeah, we know his
We
name.
have his name.
And that Kokiri has a sword.
We know-
That's all we know.
Right. And we know the location,
Yeah,
the name of the location he's being kept in.
Yeah, he's at Sushi Shibaro, I think.
Sushi Sudan. Yep.
Yeah, Shibaro.
And also, so many fun things can be theorized based on his name, because his name means seven sisters, or in English, the 380s constellation.
Oh, it doesn't mean the car brand?
Nope. Nope. Car brand means the same thing as him, too. Anyways, let's see. We finally get some dialogue from Earlobe Kamunabi. I'm starting to think that he might be the traitor, just because he is the one downstairs looking at the Swordmaster. And then, we get this really brutal information that he has sat in complete stillness for 18 years, saying not even one word except for Magatsumi at 3:47 p.m. on November 8th of this year. So literally after 18 years, he only said one word, barely being fed any nutrition, not even enough to stand up. And all we just see is him standing up and saying, the time is nigh.
That time has passed.
The time has passed. Yeah, in Japanese, I read it as, it's that time already, huh?
Yeah, people were talking about that translation on Twitter a lot. I kind of like the time is nigh.
Me too. It sounds a lot more dramatic.
I know, and people were saying the opposite. They were like, that the time has passed sounds cooler, and I was like, really? I don't know.
No,
if I agree with
the
that.
time is nigh sounds so much better.
Right? Like, it's so sick.
But
What
the
were you saying, Adam?
The meme. When the first chapter dropped out,
yes, that's right.
People was saying enough time has passed. It's already become culture. It's more impactful than Dragon Ball and shit like that.
Enough time has passed. Kagurabachi's anime is better than all other anime.
Yeah, I remember that joke.
And then
so the people want to.
I don't know how crazy
this
people
word
go
saying
if you
to
said
say
proceed.
enough passed.
Bro, if the Swordmaster said proceed, I would honestly laugh my ass.
Dude, that'd be so funny.
And then,
hold up
as
for
a
1
final,
second. Hokuzono, we know, is going to Anime NYC, right? How many videos do you think we're gonna get of
Right.
somebody walking up, going, being, "Hey, proceed," and that's all they say? I say we get at least 3 of them.
Oh, dude, I feel like we're gonna get an entire abridged version of Kagurabachi where all they say is proceed. And if we don't, I'm gonna make it.
Yes,
All
go to
right.
the
So
final
to
page.
end off this chapter, you know, we see the Swordmaster standing up. The Shinichi is unsealing itself, or at least that's what I thought was happening. I could be wrong. Could just be a reused panel of the Shinichi from before.
It is.
And then Samura says, "I'll take us there. There's no time to waste." And Chihiro says, "Let's go to Tokyo."
Let's go to Tokyo. Our boys are gonna reunite.
Yup, and I feel like I really hope that next chapter we get to see Hakuri and Chihiro and Ryuha and Samura all meet up again. You know,
That's what I'm saying.
No, I
Need
think
the
it's gonna
team
be
back.
it's gonna be a little bit more time. I think it's gonna be a few chapters because we've
Don't
also
say
got
that to me.
but we also have to catch up to the point where the
Sorry.
Kamunabi HQ is. Because also, you gotta think, it's gonna take them a second to get there. So I think we're gonna see. I think it's not
They
gonna
can
be looking
teleport.
very good.
Can't they?
I think
Sar would
Samura
have
can
this-
use Owl. I think he can use Owl to teleport anywhere where it's like in
Or
use.
even the Masumi can teleport
Yeah, they
far
literally have
distances.
like teleportation.
Yeah, they're gonna
sorcery.
teleport there.
I still think we're not good. This is my prediction for next chapter. We're going to either exclusively see what's happening in the Izami fight, or stay with Aruha and Hawkeri as they're cutting down all of those people. And maybe the end of the chapter is where we see them reunite, but I don't think that's likely.
I think they'll
I
reunite at the end.
I think they'll reunite at the end as well, but I personally think that we go back to Azami and the fight because you know, we spent 1 chapter on him, and then we spent like 2 or 3 chapters on Hakuri, and then 2 or 3 chapters on Chihiro Sonora. So I feel like if all lines up well, we're probably jumping back into the Azami fight.
Really?
I think so.
I didn't think about that, but no. I'm just gonna take the opposite side because I can, and I don't think we're gonna have an Azami chapter, but that would be the most pleasant surprise of my life.
I think we
In
are
a
gonna
way,
get
because
Azami.
I'm also very excited to see how Curry and Chihiro reunite.
Or Hokuzona's
But-
going to subvert all of our expectations, and we get either a Hiyuki or a Shiba chapter.
We're not
Oh,
getting
I
that.
would lose my mind.
No, wait, we might actually get a Shiba chapter though because of that art Hokuzona posted.
Yeah, but he's been posting that for months now.
I know, but it's like, you know, even Shiba's like, why aren't I getting any screen time? I feel like it's coming.
Yeah, he's done it 3 in a row.
Oh, it's
He'll
coming.
get it eventually. He will. But I don't think it'll be next.
But anyways, so any final remarks? Actually, everybody, one at a time, give me your final remarks and thoughts on this chat.
The first.
Cal, you can go first.
Oh my gosh! Wow, shucks. I thought that it was all great. Not much else to it. I'd peak.
All right. Well, final thoughts on this chapter?
Yes, there's one thing that I don't think that you guys mentioned, and that is the way that we also see Iori in this chapter of 86 here. First off, I need to point this out to the world. On page 6, the second panel, Iori's thumb just looks weird. I just gotta say it. It exists there.
You did point that out earlier when we said you were cleaning up the panel, and I looked at it. Her thumb is jacked.
It's not a big detail, but it's just like something that does, like, I was quoting it, I'm like, that does look a little weird, just like, it's fine though, nothing.
This is along the lines
To
of
be fair, I think with the hand on the hip, I think the thumb kind of would bend that way. Is the thing.
No, it
See,
definitely
this
would.
is along
It
the
just
lines
looks
of
weird.
noticing as bolt cut. This is like the same level of noticing as when Cal pointed out transformation source of bolt cut the other day.
Wait, what? Oh,
I asked you your thoughts, and you said, "Well, he had an interesting bolt cut." That's basically exactly what Glow just did.
Those are my takeaways. Yeah.
And also the other thing to focus on with Iori is after this whole idea of like Yeah, so sorry, we actually have to go to the Kamunabi HQ now. We get a panel of Iori where she's just drawn in like a very shakily way, and sort of the whole idea of like, yeah, if he's getting ready, like my father, who I just got in with again, is getting ready to go fight again in all of these really big battles. It's the panel on the top of page number 12. Just the way that she's like so shakily drawn here, and like it really leads me to believe that this is going to be the last time Iori sees Samura.
And we can only hope that that's not the case.
Yeah, but
Edo,
I just
your
think that's how the
final.
story works.
Oh, sorry. Edo, your final thoughts on this chapter. Everything you thought about this chapter, let it all out right now before we finish the episode.
Perfect transitional chapter for me.
You said you thought it was a perfect transitional chapter.
Yeah, after such a great chapter like 85 and whatever is going to happen, I think it's a good time to breathe.
I think I couldn't have said it better myself. 86 is one hell of a transitional chapter for the next saga of the arc. I agree.
It was the very best to cool down.
Yeah, I think that about sums up everything that we had to discuss today, right, guys?
I reckon.
It better.
And
Anything?
as the non-existing English, well, the final part of the chapter in Japanese that they didn't translate to English, let's proceed to the battlefield.
Yes, let's proceed to the battlefield. That's right.
Proceed.
But anyways,
How dare we?
so thank you to all the fans who stopped by today. This is your host of the Kamunabi HQ, Karasu, here with Glowplasma and Calcan 7, as well as my friend from Italy, Edo Serafino. If you like Kagurabachi, go ahead and check out Glowplasma and Calcan's channels on YouTube. We do a lot of Kagurabachi stuff, and then Glow does a lot more than Kagurabachi, so if you're interested in any other manga, go ahead and check out his channel. And also, if you are a fan of Kagurabachi and would like to see the manga animated like an anime with music and full voice acting, go ahead and check out the Kagurabachi Dubs team on YouTube. They do an absolutely incredible job turning this manga into cinema. So, if that covers everything, if I don't see you, then good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Thanks everybody who made it to the end of the video. My name's Karasu. I'd like to also give a thanks to Mikey, my editor, and big shout outs to Glowplasma and Calcan 7. Go ahead and go check out their channels. They do a lot of Kagurabachi stuff that's really cool. And big thanks to my friend Edo Serafino from Italy. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Till next time.